A biblical perspective on life, culture, and current events. This is 2020 on Vision.
This is Andrew McLennan. A new movie coming out called Unsung Hero is all about an Aussie family that went to America and achieved incredible success in the Christian music industry. And the lead actor who plays the mum in the role, Daisy Betts, joins me now. Daisy, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Daisy, it's great. I have seen the movie, and I'm going to say you were the best actor in the movie by far, especially the scene when you had the baby. It was so real, I actually closed my eyes.
I did say to them, I said, I have been through this a few times. Do you want real or do you want, movie? And they're like, no, this is not a Hallmark movie. Do what you think. And I was like, okay, I'm going for it. And one of the camera operators was actually expecting, his wife was 9 months pregnant at the time. He actually had to leave the shoot early because she was going to have the baby. And his eyes were so wide in that moment. I don't know if I can handle this. And the people that had children were like, wow. And the people that hadn't and were thinking about it, they were like, uh-oh.
Yeah, well, it was full on, and there's talk about placentas, and something doesn't feel right here. And when you started screaming, I'm like, I actually closed my eyes. I was like, something really bad's going to happen because I didn't know the story. I thought the mum lived, but I couldn't remember, and I'm like, oh no, I hope nothing bad happens here. But no, honestly, Daisy, I'm a radio guy. I've got no acting experience, no expertise. I'm a nobody, but you acted great in that film. I thought you played the role so well. You really were a mum in that movie.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I probably was one of the more seasoned actors on the movie, and I really appreciated that at the time because I had taken a bit of a break out of acting, and this was the role that kind of like got me back into it after many years of just focusing on being a mum. And I am a mum, so I was able to bring that authenticity to the role, but also Joel Smallbone, whose family this movie is about, he was playing his father, and he's only had a couple of acting roles before this one. He was also co-writing and co-directing the film, so he had a lot of hats to wear, and so I think that it was really great for the two of us to be together and me to just have that experience under my belt, and he was very collaborative on this film, so I loved that too because I have dabbled a little bit in producing, writing, directing, and so I have this wealth of knowledge that they were happy to draw upon and I was happy to share. So it was just such a great experience creatively and personally and spiritually. Really can't complain about any of it, to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't know all that. That's amazing. I just found out too about 5 minutes ago that every one of the family members, the Smallbone family, are playing cameos in the movie as well. I didn't realise till someone upstairs just told me.
Yeah, so the scene you just mentioned, this was absolute trip on the day. The baby that was being born was the younger sibling, Libby Smallbone, and the nurse that delivers her in the film is Libby.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
So she was essentially delivering herself,
yeah.
And it was a bit of a head spin for everyone and a very emotional day, actually. And then the other cameos are a lot more lighthearted, but that one was pretty heavy. And there is some really funny ones in there. So if you know the family, especially obviously Joel's an obvious one, but Luke Smallbone, who produced the film, and he's for King and Country with Joel, he has a fun role as a rock star in the movie. So look out for that one. You'll really enjoy it. They call it a little Easter egg hunt. So yeah.
Yeah, look, it is a genuinely good movie, and I'm fairly cynical. I mean, there's been a lot of cheesy Christian movies made over the years, like really cheesy, and I can't watch some of them, to be honest with you. That's just me. I just don't like cheesiness. And the American church scene, to be honest, Daisy, it can be very cheesy and gimmicky and a bit kind of weird at times. But I went along with open eyes. It was a free ticket. And, it was actually a good movie. I enjoyed it. And I'm telling everyone, go and see it. It's one of the better faith movies I've seen because there's a real sense of realness about it, isn't there? It's not cheesy and glamorous and glitzy. It's like it's a real story about a real family, isn't it?
I agree with you. I think that the fact that it's based on a true story and essentially it is all true. In fact, they had to take out some of the amazing, miraculous things that happened to them because they said it was getting a bit unrealistic, but it's all real. So they've just had a really amazing and inspiring experience. And so when I read the script, I thought, this is an incredible story. This family is incredible. And the fact that they've been through all this and they're so successful now, it's really inspiring for people. And I think outside of the faith world as well, because I think that it's got so many great messages. It's about gratitude and family and music and positivity and following your dreams and taking risks. And what I loved about it is that it spoke to me as a mum, and I love that it's a celebration of motherhood, because I think the character of Helen Smallbone is pivotal in this movie. She's really the glue that holds the family together. And when I read the script, and I was deep in the throes of motherhood with my youngest being 2 at the time, I felt seen, and I said, this is a story that I want to be a part of telling, and I want families to go to the movie and then want to call their mum afterwards and say, Mum, I love you. or sit there and realize that mums are pretty incredible and not always acknowledged for the stuff that they do, but that's okay. They don't mind. But this movie does acknowledge that, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's so funny you say that, because now it kind of makes sense why you played the role so well, because you're right. It's about a great mum who just holds the family together. She's the unsung hero. Obviously, that's the title. But, yeah, now I know why you just played it so well, because you obviously really resonated with it and identified with the story of this mum.
I did, yeah. It resonated on so many levels for me. And I think that, when I've been interviewing before the film was released, I just wanted to tell people it's got great messages, go see the film. And now that it's been released in America, I even more encouraged to get people to go and see the film. It's been really well received, and different parts of the film have resonated with different people. There's something for all different types in seeing this film, everybody is somebody's son or somebody's daughter. And I think that this movie just really celebrates family and how you can draw strength from family by keeping them close. And I love that idea. I'm very close with my own sisters, and I hope that my family, my own children, stay close with me throughout their lives. And the Smallbones, they've definitely stayed very close, closer than the most, I would say, but it's worked for them. And this story is about that. So I really hope that lots of people go and see this film. There's not many sessions on the schedule at the moment, because it's done its big release in America, and it comes out May 30th in Australia, which is a Thursday, which is always awkward. But there's a few sessions on a Thursday, Friday, and the weekend, and then we'll see what happens from there. I hope that people get a chance to see it.
I'm sure they will. And, in the cinema I was in, and the people I know who were there, I would say more than half cried at some point in the movie, or almost shed tears for different reasons. Because, like you said, there's different aspects of the story which resonate with different people. And yeah, it was quite moving, and that's what I liked about it. It was quite real and quite dark at times. It took a while for the happy ending to come, And but like you said, that's a timeless message, and it's not even a Christian message, because people have to suffer in life, and they have to sacrifice, and they have to take steps and take risks. And everyone you hear about or read about or know personally that's succeeded in life have done all those things, haven't they? And that's what this is about. It's about an Aussie family going to America and just having a crack at something with no guarantees and really suffering. And did that resonate with you as well? Because you're an Aussie actress who's spent years over in LA, and you did make it over there. I mean, maybe you don't think of yourself as the next Nicole Kidman, but you're way more successful than most Aussie actresses are. And did that part of the story resonate with you as well, going to America and just having a crack?
Interestingly, it was the coming back that resonated more, because when I came back, I had made a big call to change and leave LA. I was pregnant with my 4th child, so that obviously resonated, because when the Smallbones went over, they were pregnant with their 7th. And it was coming back and coming to a town where I didn't know anyone and finding community in this town. It was through the local primary school for me. I was pregnant, and there were meals that showed up on my doorstep when I had my baby, and I didn't know anyone, and I didn't even know who they were from. And then they have since become my friends. And so I loved that part of the story where it's just like, be open to community, and there's a lot of compassion and generosity in the film, and how that can be just so fulfilling. And I think it's just, it's a really good message about just being a good human. And I think it doesn't matter what your faith is. The Smallbones are really strong in their Christian faith, but whatever you believe in, just believe in it and believe that you can do it. I think that's a really more broader message from the film, and I hope that everybody takes that from it, because that's only encouraging for everyone.
Yeah, they will. And just in case our listeners don't know who the Smallbones are, they're the band for King and Country. The brothers are in that. And then also you've got Rebecca St. James, the sister, who's also a famous Christian singer. So they're all from the same family. A lot of our listeners won't realise that. I didn't realise that until very recently myself. And it's just an amazing story, isn't it, of just this family that go there and just stuff happens. God just opens up doors eventually, and they end up expressing their gift and their talent and their art, and they still are to this day.
Yeah, they continue to do so. The King and Country have been 4-time Grammy Award winners, I believe, and Rebecca St. James, super talented as well, and she's still going with her career. She's had her children. She travels around. They're actually the King and Country are coming to Australia at the end of this month. So
they are, yeah. A few concerts booked already, and and getting back to their story, one of my favourite books in the Bible, Daisy, is the Book of Esther, because the name of God is never mentioned. It's just a great story about Esther, this girl who ends up becoming the queen because she's beautiful, not just outside but inside as well. She's selected from hundreds of other women who are all equally as beautiful as her, but there's something about her character, her nature. She's so loving and kind. The king just loves her, marries her, and she ends up saving the Jewish people. But the name of God is never mentioned, and that's kind of how I see the music for King and Country. It's not cliched and cheesy Christian music, but it's good. And I think the movie's the same. Again, it's not cheesy and Christian cliched, but there's a really strong Christian message, but it's almost under the surface, isn't it, of just love, family, faith, prayer, but lots of hard work and lots of risks as well. What was your perception or impression of this family when you first encountered them as you started to make this movie?
The Smallbone family are incredibly lovely people. Like, it's everything that you would think reading this script. They're really just so kind to everyone. There was zero egos on set, even though they're really successful music group. They're all just very family oriented, and they wanted to have a good time. They didn't, there was no arguments. If there were challenges, they would be like, okay, all heads together. How are we going to solve this problem? They really practice what they preach, for lack of a better cliche. They're all just lovely people. So I think that they deserve to be celebrated in this film. Some people might question, making a movie about the family, and especially for Joel, playing his father, directing, co-writing. But it has worked for them, and it has worked in this film. And, I can't really fault the Smallbone family. Wonderful people.
Yep, and I know you had to say that anyway, but I can tell you mean it. I can tell that's a gem.
That would have been awkward. Yes, I haven't thought about it all.
But I can tell you mean it. Daisy Betts, I want to thank you so much for joining us on 2020 today, and we wish you and the Smallbone family and everyone involved in this project all the best for Unsung Hero, released on May 30th in Australian cinemas. It is a worthwhile watch, that is for sure.
Thanks, Andrew.
See ya.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.